Hey guys, it's BJ Burns here again doing my homework for this week for uh, Computer Science 5010 Structuring Programs and Data. Um, if you are my professor, hey, this is my video. If you are just randomly watching this video, I am Beej from Complete Developer Podcast. And as if you listen to the show, you know I'm in grad school, and so this is my homework for grad school. So awesomeness. Still in Visual Studio for this. I honestly just did not have time to play around with the G++ compiler this week to get it working with VS Code. Actually, I got pretty sick earlier this week and missed a lot of stuff Wednesday and Thursday. So I am just now getting this at the end of the day, Sunday, put out here. So just jump right in. The very first one problem I have is calculating the perimeter of a triangle. And so this is kind of cool. We actually had some error checking in the assignment, so I put that in, obviously, because it was there. We have one function here other than the main, which is validate input. That validates the input from the user. Basically, we come in, user enters the edges of a triangle, checks the validation. If it validates, it adds it up and outputs the perimeter. If it doesn't validate, it gives a message, input is invalid. Basically, the way to validate is if it's a triangle, the sum of two sides is going to be greater than the third. So we just check that for all three sides of the triangle here in our validate function. With this one, I used an if-else if statement. So let's go ahead and run this and show how it works on both of those. Alright, so we're going to do edges 1, 1, 2. That gives us a perimeter of 4, because 1 plus 1 is not greater than 2. Alright. Now, let's run this again, and we will do 1, 1, 4. That's an invalid input because the sum of the two sides, 1 and 1, is less than the third side of 4. So that is that assignment. Moving on to our next one, let's go up here and set as our startup project. So this is a geometry problem. We are taking two circles, taking the input from two circles, or the center and the radius of two circles, and determining whether the second circle is inside the first one, it overlaps the first one, or it is not there at all, or it's not connected at all, I should say, not there. Told y'all I wasn't feeling well. So in this one we have three functions. The first one calculates the center distance. The second one checks if it's inside. Third checks if it overlaps. So going through our main, we declare our variables, and then we get our input for the first circle, which are x and y coordinates, and then our radius. And then we get our input for the second circle, again, x and y coordinates and the radius. Then we calculate our center. We go down here. This uses the function square root of the second one, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared gives us the distance between the two centers. So we calculate the distance, and then we use that to calculate if it's inside, overlaps, or doesn't touch. So then we come down here with this if-else statement. First we go, hey, is it inside? Inside looks at the absolute value of R1. Well, if the distance is less than or equal to the absolute value of the first radius minus the second radius. If that's true, then circle 2 is inside of circle 1, and we're good. We move on. If not, then it checks if it overlaps, and that is if the distance is less than or equal to the two radiuses put together. If that is the case, then it says it overlaps, and if not, the circles do not touch. So let's run this and see how it works. Alright, so we're going to go 1, 1 with a radius of 5. And we're going to go 1, 2 with a radius of 2. So this should be inside the first circle. And sure enough, circle 2 is inside circle 1. So let's do this again. We'll just use the same coordinates for circle 1, and we'll change circle 2. So circle 2 is going to be 1. Let's put it all the way out at the edge of circle 1 and give it a radius of 2. So it will overlap but not be inside. Sure enough, it overlaps. Now, let's do the same thing for one that does not touch. Way out there, give it a radius of 2. The circles do not touch. So that's how that works. Fun, simple stuff. Alright, moving on to the next problem. This one was kind of neat. No user input here, basically just calculating the leap years from 2001 to 2100. You know, the 21st century, basically. What it does here, specifically we were told to do display 10 years per line. So we have a second counter here, declaring our variables. I threw this in here just because I like to say what's going on. When we get user input, it usually kind of gives a hint at what's going on. Just makes it a little bit more fun, in my opinion. So we instantiate our line counter here. Then we iterate through our years. If the year is divisible by 4, then it's a leap year. So we display that and put a space between the years, and we add to our line counter. Now once that reaches 10, we create a new line, and we reset that line counter. So let's just run this. No input, so it'll just pop up. There we go. And we have all of the leap years from 2001 to 2100. Alright guys, so it's time for the last one, and this one was a bit of a tricky one. Like I said, I was not feeling well this week, so this one kind of got me thinking. It's kind of cool. What this does is it displays the first days of each month. So the program prompts the user to enter the year and the first day of the year in number format. So like 0 for Sunday, 1 for Monday, 2 for Tuesday, 3 for Wednesday, so forth. So we have two functions here. One is a getDay function, and what that does is it just converts that number into the string. And then the other one is an addMonth function, and that adds the previous month to that. So we're using just one variable here for the day, and it's changing throughout the program. So we start off here getting our year and day from the user. Then we go down and we just output January. No calculations needed because you've already gotten the first day of the year. And we run the getDay function here, and we'll scroll down here. So that's just a switch case statement where we just look at, all right, what was the input? I even put a little default in here so I'll know if it's something's erroring, which that was really useful because I'll explain that when I get to the add month, but I had done a part of that wrong, and when I first ran it, I saw that blank and I was like, I messed up. So it was cool. Um, yeah, guys, for those of you new to programming, messing up is a good thing because that shows you where your issues are. If you can find that early, that's going to make life easier for you. All right. So what we do, like I said, we display January, no calculation needed there. Then we add the months from January, or add the days from January. So January has 31 days. So we pass in the current day of the week and then 31 days for January into our add month. What that does is it says, hey, take the month and mod 7. So give us month divided by 7, whatever day. That'll tell you the day of that month, and then we add that day of the week that we're on. So that adds to, so if you're February, not a leap year, then it's 28 days. 28 mod 7 is 0 because 28 is divisible by 7. And so that's 0 days. Then we add whatever day we started on. So if we started on Wednesday, then it's just going to be Wednesday in March. But we're doing January here, so we passed in 31 days here, and whatever day it is. Now here's where I had the issue, because when you add these, sometimes it goes over 7. So I had to check, and if it's less than 7, we display it. If it was over 7, I had to subtract 7 from that, because if you're on Friday, which would be 6, and your month ends, like just naturally ends on Tuesday, and then you add 6 to that, that's 8, that's over 7. So yeah. Actually, Saturday is 6, sorry, because we're 0 indexing. A little bit off here today. But, so that's kind of cool. It was really neat. I enjoyed working on this one, kind of solving this little problem. It was a fun problem to solve. There is probably a better way of doing this than going through each month like this and writing a cout statement for each one. However, like I said, I was sick a good part of this week. I'm still not feeling that great. And so I just got the program written. There are optimizations that could be done to it to make it better. So I know that. So if you want to say something in the comments, you can, but I do know it can be better. Neat little thing here, going back to our previous one with leap year, sometimes February has 29 days. And so what I did here was I just said, hey, is the year divisible by 4? If not, then it's 28 days. If so, 29 days. And we calculated our day here and passed that in. So let's run this. So this year is 2020, and I think it started on a Wednesday. So Wednesday would be 3. Yep. So February 1st is a Saturday, which makes sense because February 3rd is a Monday. I know that because it's my birthday. Woot woot. Coming up pretty soon, huh? And so forth. And I double checked this with a calendar already. So, all right, guys. Thanks very much. Like I said, I am BH from Complete Developer Podcast. If you just found this and are not my professor, if you are my professor, let me know if this is the right way to do this, because it's kind of fun, but I don't know. All right, I'll catch you guys later.